When my wife first started putting on her underwear inside out on the exact day she had to see her male boss, I thought it was just a silly, harmless mistake of a Russian woman. I was so foolish. I remember the first morning I noticed it clearly. She was standing by the edge of our bed, strapping on a beautiful red lace bra. But the thick, scratchy seams were facing outward and the little white tag was sticking out right over her chest. She pulled her matching panty up, and again, the rough stitching was fully exposed to the world. I sat up on the bed, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, and chuckled. "My dear, you're wearing your things inside out," I told her, pointing at her waist. She froze completely. Her back stiffened, and for a second, she looked like a deer caught in the headlights of a fast-moving trailer. Then, she forced a loud, awkward laugh and quickly threw her corporate gown over her head. "Omo, I dressed in the dark. My mind is just rushing because of the board meeting today," she said without looking me in the eye. I brushed it off, kissed her goodbye, and went about my day as a struggling secondary school teacher. We had been married for 5 years and things were incredibly tough for us. My salary was a joke, barely enough to buy a bag of rice in this our current economy. My wife, Adesuwa, was an entry-level clerk at a massive investment firm, also earning peanuts. We lived in a cramped face me I face you compound where the landlord pounded on our door every morning for his rent. But everything changed the day Chief Olanrewaju took over as the new managing director of her company. Chief was a billionaire, a man whose convoy of black G-wagons covered the whole street whenever he moved. Within 2 months of his arrival, Adesuwa was suddenly promoted from a clerk to an account manager. 3 months later, she became a regional director. We moved out of the slums and rented a massive duplex in a gated estate. She bought me a brand new car, changed my wardrobe, and suddenly we were eating meat every day. I was happy. Of course I was happy. But as a man, a deep, bitter inadequacy began to grow in my chest. I was supposed to be the provider, the head of the house, but I was reduced to a house husband driving a car my wife bought. And then, this strange behavior began to become a rigid, unbreakable pattern. Every Monday and Thursday, Adesuwa had what she called one-on-one executive strategy meetings with Chief Olanrewaju. And every single Monday and Thursday, without fail, she would put on her undergarments inside out. I started checking her laundry basket just to be sure I wasn't going crazy. The tags were always facing outward, the seams exposed, absorbing her sweat directly against the smooth fabric rather than the rough edges. My jealousy ignited like a bushfire in the dry season. This life is deep, and as an African man, my mind went straight to the most painful conclusion. She was sleeping with him. I convinced myself that wearing her clothes inside out was some kind of twisted, secret signal between them. Maybe it made it easier to take off in a rush, or maybe it was a dirty little inside joke they shared in his private office. The thought of that fat, wealthy man touching my beautiful wife made my blood boil, so hot I couldn't sleep at night. I started picking fights with her over small things. I would complain about her coming home late, and she would just sigh, looking incredibly exhausted. That was another thing. Despite her rapid promotions and glowing skin, her eyes looked dead. She looked like someone whose internal battery was being drained drop by drop. One night, I screamed at her, accusing her of selling her body to Chief for the promotions. She fell to her knees crying bitterly, swearing on her life that Chief had never even held her hand. "It is just hard work and grace. Please believe me," she wailed, clutching my legs. But a jealous man is a deaf man. I decided I was going to catch her red-handed, embarrass her, and leave the marriage with whatever dignity I had left. The day of reckoning finally arrived on a rainy Thursday evening. Adesuwa called me from work, her voice trembling slightly, saying she had to go to Chief's private estate on the outskirts of town for a late-night file review. I smiled a cold, bitter smile to myself. I borrowed my neighbor's heavily tinted car, a battered old Honda, so she wouldn't recognize me in her rear view mirror. I tailed her, keeping a safe distance, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would break my ribs. We drove far past the city center, leaving the street lights and the noise behind. We entered a dark, lonely stretch of road bordered by thick forests, an area no one visited at night. Finally, her car turned into a massive high-walled compound hidden completely from the main road by towering palm trees. I parked the Honda a few blocks away, killed the engine, and walked through the mud and rain toward the compound. The gate was locked, but the perimeter fence at the back had a small section where the bricks had crumbled. I climbed over, tearing my trousers and scratching my knee, but the pain meant nothing to my burning rage. I crept through the wet grass, expecting to look through a window and see a luxurious bedroom with champagne on ice. I expected to see my wife unbuttoning her blouse for her wealthy boss. Instead, I smelled it before I saw it. The heavy, suffocating stench of burning sulfur, dry gin, and roasted animal hair hit my nose. I followed the smell to a detached, windowless boys' quarters at the back of the mansion. The heavy mahogany door was left open, just a tiny crack. I held my breath, pressed my face against the wet wood, and peeked inside. My dear listeners, what I saw.
Hey everyone, if you want to catch the rest of the story, just head to the comments. You'll find the YouTube link right there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're there. Thanks for watching.